I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Monroe County Stormwater Management Board. It is Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. And the first order of business is public input for items not on the agenda. Do we have any public? I don't believe we do. So the next item for business is approval of the minutes for November 13th, 2020.
I'm going to ask that this be put on the next month's agenda so that you all have adequate time to review the minutes.
I have to say they weren't part of our packet, so yeah.
Okay, yes. Then we will just move on to the stormwater expenditure report.
October spent $10,000 on pipes, $1,000 on backfill. There is a typo on appropriation 30041 that is not training. We did not spend almost $17,000 on traveling. Software, cartograph software.
Well, I had wondered how you'd gotten so close to the estimate on travel and training that, you know.
And then on call, for traffic officers, we spent over $6,000. And then for the STIP road, we spent over $58,000.
No, seriously, when I saw that there was a 38-cent difference, I was like, how did they know exactly how much travel and training was going to cost?
And let's see, for November, we did spend almost $9,000 on fleet maintenance because there was repairs. Field crew supplies was $1,700. The backfill again was $8,500. And gas for both months were between $5,000 and $6,000. And STIP road was $4,800. For these permit fees, since July, we have brought in $14,138. That's it.
And yes,
We need a motion.
no, I don't think we vote on this. No. So we will move on to new business. And the first item is Security Pro flagging contract renewal.
I'll move approval of the security contract, or for the agreement with Security Pro 24/7.
This agreement is for, flagging services for the highway department, which includes the stormwater program, bridge crew, and highway crews. Stormwater program uses flaggers quite often, especially in the summertime when we have two folks go out and to do sweeping. So that means that we're short a couple people, and it's always useful to have flaggers. We use it also sometimes in the winter for ditching projects to ensure safety of our crews and the traveling public. So this is a renewal of an existing agreement. Security Pro requested increased rates. We haven't increased our rates in 2 years. I was able to negotiate with them because we had already approved our 2025 budget, and so they were very agreeable to working with us on that, so I thank them for doing that. But these are the rates that we agreed upon at the end. We will have a contract maximum of $125,000, and that is not just for the stormwater program, that's for highway, bridge crew, and that is more than we've spent in previous years and should account for the price increase as well. So I feel comfortable with that number. Okay, so the pricing sheet is attached. We're moving to $67.50 per hour just for flagging with one vehicle, and then we have additional options for 2 vehicles, emergency situations where the price can vary. It's useful to have one vehicle versus two vehicles because it depends on the complexity of the project location, the type of road, how busy it is, and they're equipped to help us with any scenario. They also provide signage and have all the rules that we're used to for canceling or last-minute scheduling. So, does anybody have any questions?
Just one question, just making sure this was on. And I guess mentioned it to you earlier. I was just kind of curious, you know, kind of how to kind of get a better sense of understanding how these dollars support which kind of operation. And from our conversation, you said about 90,000 of it usually is dedicated for stormwater operations and things of that nature. Is that pretty accurate? I know I kind of put you on the spot earlier today, so you did your best at ballparking that, but I guess I was just kind of making sure that that was as accurate or close as possible.
Yeah, Tina has numbers back to 2019, I believe, for what we've used for Security Pro or just the flagging services. And that's the highest number that I saw was 90,000, but it's not that high each year. So.
We don't need to go into all that specification or specificity, but I guess my main point is just knowing that it's being tracked and kind of getting a good idea of exactly how many of these dollars are going to the stormwater crew for ditching purposes, installations and other things. So I think that's good, and I think it's a good percentage. It seems like if I did really bad math, like a 60-40 kind of initiative, and I think that's a good balance. So thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the contract for Security Pro flagging, the contract renewal for Security Pro flagging, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm in support. I guess I need to make one comment. They're pretty exorbitant dollars. We've had this discussion, but I always want to echo the idea of if it is more cost effective, and I know there'd probably be quite a bit of dollars up front to, you know, get the equipment needed, not just the personnel to kind of get out there and, you know, help flagging, but I always want to make sure I echo that comment that if it does ever seem like a more effective route of doing this in-house, I'd be as supportive of that, but yes is my vote.
And I vote aye.
Can I add another comment for Tron's comment? I will say that the Highway Department is very, very helpful helping out with flagging. Whenever we're short a person, that is always our first option, is to see if there's anyone else available in-house who can help for the day. We use flagging when everyone else is busy. So, yeah, thank you.
The next order of business is BRCJ contract for drainage improvement design for Redbud Hills.
Yes, I move approval of the BRCJ contract for the drainage improvement design for Redbud Hills.
Second.
A friendly amendment is it's Redbud Heights, and I have it incorrect on the agenda. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Redbud Heights.
There's a Redbud Hills subdivision elsewhere. So this is a project that has been needed for some time, and I thought it would be a good candidate to have in the works during these the period of transition, just to keep stormwater projects going. So I contacted BRCJ, who have designed stormwater projects for us before, to provide a proposal for surveying, drainage design, engineering, as well as bidding services and construction inspection for this project so that they can help us out as much as possible to see this through from beginning to end. All right. So Redbud Heights, it's a subdivision on the south side of town, just east of Cherry Lane. If you remember that project a while back, there was significant flooding on Cherry Lane, and we did a large culvert replacement and roadside culvert and ditching on Cherry Lane. That was a pretty large project that so far I haven't heard any concerns about flooding in that area since that work was done. This is just upstream from those prior improvements, and the area is definitely subdivision, but it is lacking stormwater infrastructure as we would have it designed today. I'm going to pause my screen share and pull up a picture for you. Okay, so basically, there is a large reinforced concrete pipe that conveys the stormwater for this whole drainage area. There's no curb and gutter inlets. And this pipe has required significant maintenance before, and it's 320 feet long, and our crews have climbed through it to inspect it. I prefer they not have to do that. We typically require inlets or manholes along the length of a pipe so that it's easier to maintain and access those areas that are damaged to repair them. There's a good amount of subsidence in the area as well, along the sides of the road and the grass. I don't think it's part of our infrastructure per se, but there's definitely some issues with the infrastructure itself. The road is in poor condition. It's talked to Highway Department about completing these drainage improvements prior to paving it, because it wouldn't make sense to invest the money in paving without first addressing this issue. So again, this is the south side of town, just south of Moffett Lane off Fairfax Road. Dutcherman Drive is just east of Cherry Lane. And here we are at Dutcherman Court, so Beverly Court. So Dutcherman Drive, like I said, no existing stormwater infrastructure. It just kind of goes through a very long pipe under the roadway. So the plan here is to survey it and have a few storm inlets and pipes installed here. So it'll be stormwater will be entering and exiting the area in the same places. We're not going to change anything. We're not going to have to do easements. We're going to keep it all in the right of way, abandon the existing pipe, and install storm sewers that meet our current standards. Okay. So the proposal is for $40,800. Again, it includes the surveying, engineering, bidding, and construction assistance. But since it's been a while since we've proposed a new project, I also talked to Dave about including a resolution with this per the Stormwater Management Board state regulations. I sent a draft of that to you earlier today, and I have a hard copy here with me if you'd like to see it. Yeah, so this resolution just goes along with this proposal if you choose to vote on this today, and then it would require us to do a public hearing, which we can schedule in January. So, don't have any questions?
I don't think I saw the resolution, so I'm going to pull it up real fast. So.
I did see the resolution and had no problems with it.
Oh, you got.
Thank you.
Yeah, I reviewed it. I had some of these conversations prior to the meeting, but I guess I should share that because unfortunately, use Kelsey Fatonia as our previous Stormwater Program Manager.
The mic wasn't picking you up, sorry.
Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I'm online, I can hear that fade out occasionally. Mine are just kind of, how do we kind of prioritize these projects? There's been numerous folks I've talked to that have issues going on, and it's nice to finally getting to addressing some of these. It would be nice to have some type of scoring system, metrics where we could really prioritize these, and if there's like, and I'm just kind of thinking, about a way of doing this. These numbers are completely arbitrary. So like if there was like 10 factors to score these, and, we score each one based off of like, is it impeding people's connectivity as far as the right of way to get to and from? Is it causing water to pond up on the yards? Is it potentially a water conveyance to a stream that we're seeing increased erosion? Is it next to a business where there could be more pollutants carried down? How recent was the road installed? How many folks is this impacting? It would be a great way to have that scoring system, so whenever we see these, we can prioritize them based off of how much of an impact they're going to have. I haven't seen too many of these in my 8 years sitting here, and so having something like that doesn't just maybe put us into a box where we're only going to look at certain capital improvement projects, but able to expand what we're doing, but also having a matrix where we can prioritize them correctly. So those are my thoughts, and today I'll be happy to support this, but in the future, those are going to be probably where I split my ability to support a request or not.
Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so in terms of prioritizing, we do track all of our stormwater complaints and concerns in Cartograph, and we have them ranked high, medium, or low. Almost everything our crew is able to handle in-house. Like there are some subdivisions where we can easily replace the infrastructure in kind or repair it, which we've done. It was the one down off of Darrell Drive. We replaced storm pipes and repaired inlets in that whole subdivision prior to paving. Westbrook Downs is another one you may see in the future. All of those pipes are bad. All the bottoms are out. That's going to be another one that we may be able to do in-house. Haven't figured it out yet based on utility conflicts, but it will be possible there. But for the most part, everything's handled in-house and prioritized based on what we have in Cartograph. The larger projects, there are some things I've been aware of from Todd Stevenson and Terry Quillman that they kind of told me about that, one day we should take care of this. Some of them are in the long-range plan, some of them are not. This is an example of something that has come up that's just, a pipe that has been required maintenance for so many years, and we track all of that in Cartograph. So I wish I had a better, presentation and documentation of all of that, but we do have the information in our asset management software. The long-range drainage plan, as you know, we've completed many of those projects, but we've talked, it is due for a rewrite to reprioritize and readdress some of the drainage problems in the county. I think we've made great progress on it since it was written in 2016. I attribute so much of that to Todd and Terry. So yeah, I think there's definitely ways we can improve this process moving forward. So.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that you did mention that this is a road that needs repaving. And in a situation like that, if there's a known stormwater project, then it really makes sense to prioritize that one above others so that a road doesn't have to get torn up in the future for it.
Absolutely, and like a scorecard, like I'm not asking to do a lot of extra work, just a way where we could look at it of how these things were scored and why it's kind of coming to us today. And I think we have put the foundation to make this easier of a lift than in previous years. So yeah, like that right there is a good added reason of why we're moving forward, because, you know, we're able to accomplish multiple goals. So.
And I want to add on this project, our stormwater crew had this is kind of piggybacking off of another project that we did in-house a few years ago. I believe it was when Terry was still here. It was a pretty major project and affected Fairfax Road, but there was more issues involved, and this was one of those issues that was still outstanding. So it's kind of like that second phase of the project that we did previously. And again, like Darrell Drive and such, if you drove was in bad shape due to the drainage and everything. So it's on our list to pave next year and do those beforehand, and our crew does a great job of it. So I wish we had a different mechanism too. I feel like our software program tracks really well. We attach pictures to everything, every phone call to that same complaint. So if we do see an increase in that too, we might move it up on the priority list and contract it out. Yeah, it's different, I guess, different factors on why it would come up at this time. But again, I think this one too was more of this is kind of that next step. We need to help in that subdivision.
Just all of this discussion as far as if there's someone that is dealing with an issue and they're like, why aren't they getting to me? I think this is all good information for the public to understand that, you know, there's a lot going on in the county, and there's certain other factors that really kind of prioritize projects. And, you know, thank you. I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, and anytime you want to come and look at the database that we keep and the history that we track in all of these projects and these complaints, our crews do a great job. Jason, our stormwater supervisor, does great with getting with property owners, explaining, and Kelsey also explaining if we can't do something, the reason why, because it's a bigger problem. So I think the public seems to understand a little bit better for the way we track it, and maybe the reasons why we can't address it today.
Right.
So.
Well, thank you.
I would like to make a note of the need to look at the long-range plan again and make sure we can take that into account in this next year. Trust my memory to bring that up. I'm sorry, I have lost track.
So
we
have we voted on the?
do we have a motion?
Okay, did we vote on the contract with BRCJ? I didn't think so.
Have not voted yet.
Okay.
But we have a motion.
You have a motion.
Public comment, and then we could make a.
Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, all in favor of the contract with BRCJ for drainage improvement designs for Redbud Hills, please say aye.
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 With the caveat that it's Redbud Heights.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
But then you want us to vote on this resolution, right?
Yes, please.
Accompanies it, so can we go ahead and add that in?
Yes.
Yeah. So I move that we approve Stormwater Management Board Resolution 2024-1 as presented to us today by Ms. Thetonia.
Second.
Is there any public comment on this? None. All in favor of Stormwater Management Board Resolution 2024-1, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Our next order of business is the 2025 Solid Waste Conservation District. Soil and water. That's what I thought I was saying. Too many things start with SW. Soil and Water Conservation District MOU for stormwater grants and summer internship.
I move approval of the 2025 Soil and Water Conservation District MOU for the stormwater grants and summer internship.
Second.
We have Martha on Teams who will be able to present this and discuss it with you.
I'm sorry, Martha, I just keep on
You're
getting
fine.
these initials all
happens a lot.
confused.
It really is okay. So just a couple of quick things to bring you guys up to date. We've had 15 applications this year. Not all of those were fundable because they were either in the city or they didn't qualify for one reason or another. We do have somewhere around 11 that have been funded. The maximum amount we can fund with the 35,000 is about 11 and a half, 12-ish, at the maximum of $3,000 each. But we actually have 5 pending to go before the board tonight. So we're excited about the program. We're excited about the I hate to say speed, but speed that it's picking up. Having our new resource person full-time as of January will be very helpful. And yeah, we're just excited about where we're headed.
Any questions?
This is what we've seen for several years now.
We have, yep.
Yeah, I'm in support.
Yeah, I'm very much in support of this. I think that some of these grants are really important things, and I would like to thank the district and the board and Stormwater for making all of this possible.
We will have more detailed report in January of some of the projects that we've completed this year, so you have some visuals and things like that. So that's our goal, at least.
Very good, thank you.
No, she might have said it, I didn't hear. I know on the back page of the agreement, I don't know if there's any leftover funds. I think there has to be actions on that if there's leftover funding.
Oh, yes, there is $4,000 pending that if you guys allow us, we'll just shove it into next year and continue on with that. That is in the new MOU. It does ask that if it's under 5,000, if we can just continue to do that. That's typically where we're at this time of year, somewhere around 3,000 to 5,000 that's lingering around, and we usually pull that over and use it up into the next year.
Problems with that?
Makes things much easier administratively.
Yeah.
I think just to kindly request that you kind of, as you come back, you inform us if you had to carry any over, and it'll allow us to track it better. I like that 5,000 cap because that starts hitting a decent percentage of what we're allocating, and my goal is to maximize the use of this fund. So again, I'm very supportive, so yeah.
Yeah. We're hopeful that from this point forward, we'll be able to say, we can't fund them all.
That would be nice, I guess.
With that, or we need to provide more funding.
Yes,
so.
right. That's where that might go. Is there any public comment on this item? None. All in favor of the 2025 Soil and Water Conservation District MOU for stormwater grants and summer internship, please say
Aye.
Aye.
Now we're on to staff reports. Ms. Pena.
Thank you.
I will say that here in about 10 till, I'm going to have to run all the way back to the showers building to make the plat committee meeting, which I needed there for a quorum. Apologize for the tardiness today. I had it in mind that I could attend virtually, and it would have made it a bit easier on everyone, so I'm sorry for that. I hope I can stay for the whole thing, Erica, but if you have to adjourn after I leave, I don't think that's going to cause any interruption with your update, so I'll leave quietly.
This shouldn't be a long update. It's only a few slides, so it should go quick, but it'd be informative. So, as you are aware, we updated our stormwater management ordinance, so now we issue our own local stormwater permits. We have had 72 applications since that was passed in June. 9 of them are still under review. So that's a good amount for about 6 months. Our total permitted sites sits at about 118, which is a pretty big increase from the update I gave you in April. I think it was sitting at about 70 total permitted sites, and those were really only the 1 acre or more or part of a larger common plan of development. So now with our stormwater permit, we are permitting a local permit to all new residential builds as well, which is a bulk of what we're getting in right now with our permits. So of those 118 that are permitted, 65 of those are in active construction, roughly. 53-ish are on hold where they haven't started yet, or are inactive where they're at like a finishing point, just kind of waiting for vegetation to grow in, or they're in a pause for some reason. The map says that 22 sites were terminated. I did terminate 1 this morning, so that's 23 have been terminated, and roughly half of the total permitted sites are over an acre. And those are going to be predominantly your larger commercial sites. Some residential are over an acre as well, but it's mostly the commercial sites. Some of the fees were introduced during the budget, but here's what we've collected so far for the construction fees, permit fees, $6,750 for the smaller projects, and then the larger projects and commercial projects, $4,200 have come in. Any questions about the construction side of things yet?
Terminated means completed?
Completed. We've performed a final inspection, fully stabilized, everything is in place, all the boxes checked, permits are closed, yes.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah, I mean, I borrowed it from the state.
Okay.
Construction stormwater general permit, you have to submit a notice of termination to close out your permit. So we kind of follow the same pattern of you have to have a termination and permit termination inspection and close everything out. I'm hoping to do a few more before the end of the year too, just get those off our tracker, get them off our plate, because they're practically done anyways. So. There were no drainage plan reviews fees included in this total. So as part of our ordinance update, we also took over the logging permits from the planning department. So again, that's as of June of this year. We have had 17 logging permit applications come in. 2 of them are still under review. 1 has been reviewed and is pending payment. The map is a little difficult to see because they're single or just a few parcels at a time, and they're spread around the outskirts of the county in that map, outside of our critical drainage areas, and mostly out of the floodplain, down by Lake Monroe. You can see a couple down there. We've had those 14 permits paid for, so $3,500 has come in from those logging permit applications.
Question. Outside of, I see that we have parcels indicating where this is occurring. Do we know how they're removed for logging purposes within those parcels, or where they're located, or are we just kind of parcel lens?
We don't ask them number of trees. I don't know that they fully anticipate the number of trees that they're going to take out until they're actually in there. I'm sure that they track all of that because of all their that they want to take in, but so that's not something that we're tracking. Number of trees, no, just by parcel.
And the reason is maybe how we could report that with like a heat map, and if we could see X number of trees have been removed from this area from multiple parcels, gives us a better indication of what's actually being done on the ground. So that's the impetus of the question. But thank you.
So they are selective. They're not clear cutting. These logging operations, they're not clear cutting. They are selective. So there is tree canopy remaining. Several of the applications have had a forester as the primary point of contact. So many of the property owners are very careful about how they are harvesting on their properties because they want to support healthy forest growth. And so they're working with those foresters to have that healthy forest management, which is great to see. I encourage. Any other logging questions?
No, I'm just a data geek right now, so.
Yeah, no problem. So for our BMP inventory, there has not been much change in our numbers right now. We've hit our goals in how many IDEM has wanted us to inventory. We have started really doing our outreach to HOAs. We held a workshop organized by Adam Rickert. We held that back in August, which went really well. We've had a lot of feedback, a lot of questions from various property owners and HOAs. Since then, I've had several on-site meetings to work with those HOAs on developing a management plan or repair plan for their BMPs within their subdivision. I also presented about our BMP inventory at INAFSUM, the Indiana Association of Floodplain Stormwater Managers, which was really great experience. Got a lot of positive feedback, comments from other people doing the same thing, some good ideas for how we could have done it better and how we can improve what we're doing. So that was a really great experience. I also have a link here. So there is a public-facing map. Let me see if I can pull this up. So I worked with Irena in the GIS division to create this public-facing map of all of our BMPs around the county. You can click on various things, change which are owned publicly, by us as the municipality, which are privately owned, which is going to be most of them. You can zoom in and find one in a particular neighborhood, and over on the left, it'll show you some of the information about that particular BMP. Up at the top here, you can report an illicit discharge, or you can report an issue with that stormwater infrastructure, and those will come, the illicit discharge alerts Adam, the infrastructure issue alert comes to myself, and then from there we can help solve the problem. So just wanted to make you aware of that. The link is on our website as well. Any questions on the BMP inventory? This one. We did not hold our 2024 construction or stormwater workshop, formerly called the contractors workshop. There were some issues with the venue. There was a roof leak at Ivy Tech, so the rooms were unavailable. So we pushed it into January 2025. So upcoming workshop date at Shreve Hall. It's going to be a lot of fun. We opened it up so it's a larger group this year. The usual contractors, engineers, but also now HOA boards, HOA management groups, realtors, kind of people who might have an opportunity to put their hands on a construction site or logging or BMPs. So we're hoping that there is a good crowd this year. There will be lunch served, so you all are welcome to join as well. With that, thank you. Did the last one show up? There we go. It's just delayed. That's all I have for you today.
Thank you.
Just, I guess one thing, and that's about kind of that workshop you showed. Like, I'm so excited of the progress that has been made of doing this. Not only does it help stormwater, it also helps a lot of other areas of the county that are somewhat problematic, planning for one with the HOAs. I remember talking about this at the SWEET meeting less than a year ago, I feel like, and we made this much progress, and that's just amazing, and I really want to give you a big thank you, because I think this will continue to allow us to expand our reach with folks that we need to help educate. And I think that's going to be one of the most powerful tools we have in our toolboxes, that education and that awareness that we can bring people to help them manage their own stormwater infrastructure or other things that are just maybe not practical sense, but very logical when you think about it. So thank you, and I'm so sorry I have to run, but I do have to.
Well, and I will say the workshop is a partnership with the city stormwater program as well, and the Soil and Water Conservation District also participates quite a bit and supports us as well. So it's a countywide, multi-unit affair. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. And that's what's so cool about the suite is we bring in all of those folks, even the Ellettsville and IU.
Hi, Tron.
Nice job, Erica.
Thank you, Erica. That was very interesting, and I think it kind of shows that the new stormwater ordinance is doing what it's supposed to do, which is nice to see. There is nothing else?
We need to set up a meeting for January.
Yes. The date of our next meeting is January 8th at 3 p.m. Now,
I checked in with Commissioner Thomas. She is not starting to teach until February, and I checked the
Okay.
IU schedule, and classes don't begin, I don't believe, until January the 13th, and so that should be...
okay, then let's go ahead and stick with that, and then when the three of us are together, we can come up with what will work for next year. Okay?
Great.
All right, so the date of our next meeting is Wednesday, January 8th at 3 p.m. And, well, first of all, I think we have to say thank you to Penny for all of her contributions over these years, and it's been great working with you.
I really appreciate the patience people have shown me trying to educate me on things. But I also am really sad that Ms. Tatonia is leaving the county. She knows that. I've told her that personally. But I know she's going to make a difference to other residents in this county.
Yes, and her work in the city may well help the county, so we're enthusiastic about that.
I expressed my gratitude and thanks to Commissioner Githens last month because I wasn't sure if we would meet this month. So I just want to say thank you again. And then to Ms. Fatonia, I've mentioned a couple things over the last month of how well she's performed and how easy she's made it. And it will be a big loss for the county, but a gain for someone else. So I do want to say thank you for your commitment as well, and have appreciated all of the time and effort that has gone into not just your day-to-day job, but helping the board understand what's going on and how we get here to today to make actual decisions. So thank you for that.
Yes, you are going to be sorely missed, I can tell you that. It's been a pleasure working with you also. Adjourned.
Thank you.